Whoa, that was a bit of a bear. That was 4,200 meters in an hour 30 on the nose. How much do you need to swim to get faster? That's what we're going to talk about today. All right, trainiacs. So, last night I met a trainiac here locally. Solid guy. I want to say Kevin. Sorry if I got that wrong. I got a thing with names. If you ever pick up on me being like, hey man, it's because I am really good with numbers. Names, for some reason, not good at. And we talked about how much he's swimming, and he was like, I know that you say you should swim 3 times, but I live out of town, I can't swim at all. And I was like, you know what, whatever you can swim, you can swim. And it then got me thinking, all right, how much do people need to swim to actually see improvements? Let's get into that. So what we've got here is I've created a graph where on the x-axis we have the number of swims per week. Every dash is another swim per week. So starting at 1, going all the way up to 14, which is what you see like Olympic swimmers do. High performance kids are doing that. And on the y-axis, we have speed gains. Now, none of this is like scientific, but this is general sort of approach and guidelines to swimming. Some people might be well beyond this, some people might be well below this, but these are really good rules of thumb to understand how much swimming you need to do to get speed gains. So this isn't how fast you can get, this is how much you can make yourself faster. So this is you against you. This is the difference in how much faster you can make yourself. And what we've got here is I'm gonna map out 2 things. As a beginner, you're pretty spoiled. So starting from 0, basically, you're not gonna get any faster, you're not gonna get any slower. So you're gonna get faster really quickly, basically going from 0 swims all the way up to 2 or 3, and then what I'd say is you'll probably start dipping down and actually making yourself slower. If you don't have a swim background, past about 2, 3, 4 swims a week, you're not doing yourself any favors because you only need just a small little bit of stimulus to make yourself faster. And beyond that, your body isn't adapted enough to have more than 3, 4 swims a week. So you end up doing essentially damage. You're overtraining yourself. But it just takes a little bit of stimulus. We're talking like 1, 2, 3 swims a week, and you're gonna get a lot faster. At this level, what I would recommend is going to triathlontaren.com/swim drill program. And this is a really intentional series of drills that I've put together. They're all free. I think like 6,000 people have gone through it. I would start with that because it's gonna give you the foundation of how to progress into what we're gonna get into now, which is intermediate. And this is where a lot of people find themselves stuck. At this level, if you're swimming 0 times per week or even 1 time per week, I would actually say that you're probably going to get slower as a triathlete because the running aspect of being a triathlete is very corrosive on our body. That pounding, it compresses our body. It's very catabolic, so it eats away at our muscles. Whereas with swimming, we need to be long, we need to be limber, so we're not nearly as good a swimmer than just pure swimmers, frankly, because we run. At about 2 times a week, there's a crossover, and that tends to be the minimum dose just for maintenance. Just maintaining the speed that maybe you built up as a beginner here. At 3 swims a week, you start having the potential for getting a little bit faster. However, if you're only swimming 3 times a week, those 3 times a week, like me, they have to be really purposeful. So just going and swimming 3 times a week, doing multiple 400 meter or yard repeats, or doing 1,000 continuous or 1,500 continuous, and just swimming a whole bunch of drills and then a whole bunch of steady state to try to build up your endurance, you're not really going to make yourself faster. You're just going to kind of work yourself into this groove of that standard speed. So you might actually at 3 start leveling off and going into maintenance. So if you are swimming 3 times a week, you have to be really intentional. I'm swimming 3 times a week. That's why I've started subscribing to the Tower 26 workouts, because they are very key, very intentional. At 4 times a week, you start getting a fair bit faster. That's a really key tipping point that I found about 5 years ago when I did the first marathon swim we'd ever done. I started swimming 4 times a week. I didn't really change a whole lot with my swimming. I didn't change my technique. I just started swimming more, and I went from about a 13 high, like a 1350, 14-minute sprint distance swimmer, all the way down to an about 1130 in a matter of months. Because that increased frequency and not having any more than 1 day in between swims throughout the week, it really ingrains that muscle memory and that familiarity with the water. You can feel it really well. So at that point of 4 swims a week and 5 swims a week, you really start improving. Now, when you start getting to elite level swimming and you're swimming 6, 7, upwards of 12, 14 times a week, ends up trailing off. So you might still be getting faster, but you have to work more and more and more and more as an elite swimmer just to get that little bit of extra speed. So that's why you'll see a heck of a lot of pro triathletes, a heck of a lot of really elite amateurs swimming somewhere in that range of 4 to... So that's why you'll see a lot of really elite amateurs, some pros swimming somewhere in that 4 to 6 times per week, because it's a really good return on your investment as far as time spent with getting faster. So now here's the thing. What if you're a guy like Kevin yesterday that he can't swim? Don't worry about it. That's the thing about triathlon. I think that everyone is maybe misinterpreting when I say, like, you really have to swim 3 times a week. I don't mean you have to swim 3 times a week, or you must swim 3 times a week, or 4, 5, 6 times a week. It's just that you need to understand where 0 swims a week fits into life and your expectations, where 3, 4, 5 swims a week fits into your expectations. And if you can't do it, don't worry about it. Like, if you literally can't do it, you can't do it. I'm not going to judge. Why the hell would I judge that? I'm just here to tell you where that fits in. You swim as much as you can. The more you swim, the faster you'll get. But we'll still be pals if you're only swimming 0, 1, 2 times a week. You're still my trainiacs. Damn it. So there you go, trainiacs. That is all for today. We are airing out the garage right now. If you aren't yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button below. If you are subscribed and you like answers like this, if you like that little screen grabby thing that I do with the iPad, hit the like button. Also, check out the Triathlon Taren podcast. It is the most reviewed triathlon podcast in the world. Later.